Welcome, friends! Today we're doing an unsponsored review of Mongil Stardive. This is actually the game that inspired my unsponsored series because I had heard pretty mediocre / even awful things about it, but a lot of my favorite gacha creators were still accepting sponsorships from it. So I tried it for myself, and I definitely didn't dislike it, but there are some pretty big flaws that I want to talk about because I feel like most of these other videos didn't cover them. The first big thing I want to point out is that this game seems to have a bit of a pacing problem, and that could just be because it's new and there's not that much content out as far as the story goes, but it feels really difficult to jump from 2 story chapters all the way to endgame, if that makes sense. These keys basically serve as your energy for acquiring materials to level up your characters, the usual for gacha games, but the problem is they don't regenerate super fast, and everything in this game to level your characters is really expensive. And I don't think it would feel like as much of a big deal if there was more of a gap between what you're doing for the story and endgame. But character skills, equipment, monsterlings especially, it takes kind of a long time to get actually good stuff. And I feel like there's not a lot of time to spread that out in between doing the main story and going to the end game. The lack of keys is also a huge problem when it comes to this event, these types of events in particular, because I'm sorry, every single stage I do costs 10 keys. You're telling me in order to complete this event, I have to play the stages 130 times? The hell is 130 times 10? That's 1,300? You want me to spend... I haven't played this game for like 5 days, so I have 600 keys. I still don't have enough. And then you expect me to also build my characters on top of that? Shameful. Absolutely shameful. And to be totally fair, they did send us a bunch of keys in the mail as compensation for this error, but I used mine to build a character, and maybe that's on me. But at the same time, I feel like this event is way too expensive for a resource that already feels very finite. Another issue I had with this game was honestly the monsterling system. It's kind of confusing if you don't really take the time to understand it, because they give you a basic tutorial on, oh, you can combine, if you combine this guy with this guy, it'll give you a new type of monsterling. The problem with this is that you don't know which monsterling you want. You can look at the combination page, but if you look here, any of the ones you haven't discovered yet, it doesn't tell you what it gives you. It just says not discovered yet. Then the bigger problem with that is that if I go to combine these, there's also no guarantee that it'll even transform. It might just stay into one of these. 33% mutation chance. Also, you have these, the premium salmon purees, which you can use to lock stats. So if I wanted to lock this 2% attack, which I'm not going to do, please don't do that. But if I wanted to, I could lock this stat and then combine them. But even still, if I lock stats, there's still no guarantee that they will mutate. So, okay, of course, I got lucky, because if you don't know me, that's like my whole thing, is that I get super lucky, okay? But for everybody else who's not super lucky all the time, more than half the time, you won't even create a new monsterling. And then typically the best in slot monsterlings are the result of combining other boss monsterlings. It's not a very beginner-friendly system, and I do have some issues with it. They did reduce some of the RNG, so points for that, but it's still definitely hard for me to rate this part of the game positively. Overall, the in-game systems I would give about a 4 out of 10. It feels a little more like a mobile game than like a PC gacha game, and I guess those are the kinds that I'm more used to. But you can raise or lower this one a point or two depending on your personal opinion of RNG and how beginner friendly something is. As for the free-to-play friendliness, they give you a lot of standard pulls. A lot. And there's also a starter banner. You can see I don't have it here anymore, but they give you a starter banner that allows you to select one of the standard characters, and it gives you 50 pulls, and if you pull them early, you can keep pulling. So that's good. The problem is you don't get a lot of these premium wishes very quickly, and the same thing goes for the Starlight Crystals. It really feels like they want you to buy most of your premium pulls, which is not great for free-to-play friendliness. You can also get some weapon banner pulls from doing the story and exploring the world, so that's good. But I didn't really see very many of these. I think we got quite a few from like the game first coming out and basically starter rewards. So I would give the free-to-play friendliness a 6 out of 10 for now, so far. But the game is brand new, and I find that typically gacha games are more generous at the beginning of their life cycle than they are after some time has gone by. Plus, it's made by Netmarble, so you can make your own assumptions about that. The story is adorable and funny. One of my favorite characters is definitely the adorable Nyanners, but the story starts to fall off just a little bit after about the length of a sponsored stream. So everybody who did a sponsored stream featured the super cute, adorable, funny parts of the story. But if you kept playing like I did after those big creators were streaming it, it's okay. It's all right. I would say it's still cute because Nyanners exists, and it's not long, so it's easy to skip through if you don't really care for the story. So maybe this is slightly generous, but I would give it a 7 out of 10 personally. Okay. We've talked some negatives so far, but now I think the most important question is honestly, how fun is it? So despite some of these systems scoring on the lower end, I had a lot of fun playing this game. It always felt like there was something to do without it being a chore necessarily. If you want to just run around the map and fight the monsters, you can do that. It does also take a really long time to clear all of the mobs from the map every day if that's what you want to do. And the endgame definitely challenged me enough to feel very rewarding once I was finally able to start clearing it. So for the fun rating, I give it a 9 out of 10. Combat comes in slightly lower at an 8 out of 10. Mostly because I'm used to playing games like Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves, and if you're looking for combat like that, it's not quite as smooth, maybe is the word I'm thinking of. It's definitely still fun, it's good, it is smooth, it's just not on that same level as some other gachas that people might be used to, so that's something to be aware of. The overall rating for this game comes out to a 6.8 out of 10, which honestly, I think is pretty representative of the game as a whole. It's not the worst, it's not the best, but it's definitely worth trying if you're in between games. If you are committed to a certain gacha game right now, I probably think you could safely skip this one, but the Nekometer will rank it slightly higher at an 8 out of 10. That's all for today. Bye, friends!